You know, buying a sled nowadays for youth, maybe your spouse, or even having one kicking around for a buddy to use when they come up, that's harder and harder to do on a budget. So I'm going to show you today how you can buy a sled for a reasonable price, and then with just a little bit of an investment, fix it up and make it something that's a whole lot more than you thought possible. Utilizing companies like Kimpex means that I've got access to incredibly large arrays of parts and accessories. Not just new parts for new sleds, but new parts for old sleds specifically, because this is really where most folks start to get nervous, wondering if they could even find the basic service bits to keep an older sled going. And I'm here today to tell you that yes, you can. So this sled right here is a 2000 Ski-Doo Touring E380 Fan. It's got just over 2,500 kilometers and it's in pretty decent shape. Now I bought this snowmobile for my daughters, but more specifically for my eldest, who's eligible this year to get her snowmobile license, and I wanted her to be able to ride a full-size sled without damaging a new full-size sled. So yeah, 2,500 kilometers isn't all that much, but there are lots of things that weather, age, and rust can take their toll on. Maybe like this sled, it's not so much any one thing that's wrecked, but just overall is in need of a little investment to keep it looking its best and continue to provide years more reliable service. Today's budget was right around $1,000, and you're going to be shocked how far that goes. It even includes a brand new set of Kimpex Rush skis and carbides. Sure, I could have opted to keep my old rusty stock steel skis and saved about half the budget, or I could have chosen a new set of steel skis from Kimpex just like the stocks for around $300. But this update will not only help improve steering and drivability, it'll also mean that the skis won't ever rust again, as all the parts of the skis are plastic, reducing unsprung weight and making driving for a lighter, smaller rider much easier. Kimpex offers multiple plastic ski styles and colors for just about every snowmobile ever made. Now before heading under the hood of this sled, the windshield, which is still in pretty good condition, is hazy and has some old graphic marks left on it, so that's something that can really age a sled of this vintage. With options of blacked out, smoke, or this style of clear windshield, there's lots of choices. I opted for what I know will keep my kiddos the warmest because a cold kid is like a cold wife. Unhappy. The stock shield has used zip ties to hold it on because those rubber retainers can be hard to find, but for a simple $6, Kimpex will send you a 6-pack of them and make your install much easier. Now under the hood, we do have quite a few parts and pieces to replace and update to keep this 2000 Ski-Doo running strong. First up is some new muffler springs. These things can go bad after pulling too hard, so for a few bucks, replacement is simple and easy, and I'll keep your pipe from flopping around. Spark plugs are also very important, not only to check and change, but to have a few spares kicking around. While the sled does run, I'd prefer to start with a fresh, higher performance set of NGK Iridium IX plugs, and then I'm going to take a set of these standard NGK plugs and put them in the belt cover holder as backup. From here, taking the belt currently on the sled off and using it as a spare is a good rule of thumb, and in place goes a brand new Kimpex Advantage drive belt. It's a reliable and price-conscious option and works great for a lower horsepower sled like this. Now this would probably be enough for us to get out and have a lot of fun for a long time, but there's one thing that I like to not overlook, and that is the chain case chain. Now, you can assume that the oil inside of the chain case is absolutely ancient because there's a lot of people who don't even know that it's there. And when it comes to checking the tensioner, if you find that there's a little bit of slop, it's not a bad idea on an old sled just to put a new chain in. It's fairly cheap and it's going to save you the cover and possibly the entire case if the chain is to break and bind up. So for just over $100, I was able to order the exact replacement Kimpex Silent Drive chain. The removal and replacement takes a little bit of time and it's more work than the other things that we've done, but it's a worthy one to do. Remember to fill it back up with proper snowmobile chain case oil, which is 80-90 weight, and you'll be ready for years more worry-free service. While I'm here at the chain case, I'll also go ahead and switch out the brake pads for a brand new stock style Kimpex metallic pad set. They make them for just about every sled built in their OEM quality. I'll also be installing a brighter, more effective Halogen Kimpex H4 headlight bulb. Now with the hood closed up, I feel like I've tackled the most important maintenance things to be done, but I still have a couple of things that I would like to update while I'm working on the sled. I can see that the stock snow flap got stuck into the studs at one point, so a fresh Kimpex flap is a $22 easy swap that makes it look so much better. Likewise, the gas cap on this sled isn't the right one. EPI makes a perfect fit replacement and gets us back to seeing precisely how much fuel we've got left. And while I'm here, I also wanted to do a little extra to keep my kids' hands warm. So I went with a set of the Kimpex Universal Standard muffs. They're made out of a nice neoprene material and just slip over the bars. These, along with the hand and thumb warmers, will keep them out there way longer. And actually, I secretly bring these along on cold days rides too. Also keep in mind, in our old engines like this 380 Rotex fan, you can totally use regular mineral oil in the engine to save a few bucks. 1 or 4 liter jugs of Kimpex oil can be bought in mineral or full synthetic and are great options for saving some money but getting in a quality product. You know, I was really impressed with just how far my budget of $1,000 actually went on this snowmobile today. And it feels great when you find a good deal on a sled like this, so putting in that little bit of extra investment means that not only are you and the person that you're building this sled up for going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it, when you go to trade it up or sell it to the next buyer, they're going to see that added potential as well.